Content warning for profanity, cigarette use, and adult themes. Welcome to the world premiere of Season 2 of Discount Storytime. I'm Coffee McCann, and I'm pleased you have decided to continue on with this adventure. This season will be different than the short stories in Season 1. In this season, we are following the adventures of our hero, Dr. Wendell Glick. So we're just going to jump right in. Enjoy! The universe doesn't give a fly's taint how smart you are. Quote from Professor Marlene Tartan, Division of Astronomy, St. Theddeus University, Newest York, Earth. The morning sun rose on Missouri City on planet Earth. Postal carrier Yelena Frost was having a terrible day. "This is going to be the worst day of my life," she thought. It started with a hangover, led to being late to work and getting yelled at by her supervisor. She wasn't a drinker either, but one of her friends had matched into her first choice residency program, and they were all out to celebrate. Matching is a process by which medical school graduates are assigned their residency or their postgraduate work education. Yelena was doing okay until someone ordered shots. Then it went downhill fast. That was dangerous stuff, and now she was paying the price. She couldn't find her sunglasses, and her eyeballs were about to pop as she skulked out of the postal building to her assigned Jeep to start deliveries. She started up her postal Jeep. It was loud. She drove down the city streets. They were loud. She sighed. Her sigh was loud. Yelena's bloodshot eyes caught her purse on the floorboard. Sitting in the open purse was her pack of cigarettes. Yelena was trying to stop smoking, or at least cut back, but today she was a mess. She could pull the Jeep over and sneak a quick smoke. That would get her back on track. But she was already late for everything today, and time was not on her side. Now, grant you, smoking in the postal vehicles was, of course, strictly forbidden. Yelena looked into the Jeep's mirrors conspiratorially. Nobody was around at this time of day. Surely one little cigarette wouldn't hurt anything. Hell, it would probably help her focus and get through the day better. As a matter of fact, it would be irresponsible to not have a quick smoke. Yelena reached down and pulled out the cigarettes and lighter. She took a deep breath and inhaled the smoke. She held it for a moment and then let it out, and almost immediately she felt the nicotine cravings in her arms and legs give way. Much better. After a couple more drags, she was good to go. Nothing went wrong after all. Relieved and relaxed, Yelena chuckled and flicked her cigarette out the Jeep window. Easy peasy. At the same time, a strong spring wind lobbed the lit cigarette back into the Jeep. Shit, 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 shit. The cigarette landed on top of a thick 9x12 brown envelope. This envelope was addressed to Dr. Wendell Glick, 2021 Kayville Road, Apartment 8A, Missouri City, United States, planet Earth. Now, had anyone read the return address, they would have read Office of Medical Education and Residency, St. Tetanus Medical Center, 42 Last Ditch Drive, Wax Mine City, planet Pariah 7. Nobody saw that address, though. because wherever that return address was, it was a place that manufactured highly flammable envelopes. The envelope and its contents went up like a Roman candle, lighting the surrounding mail and the Jeep's interior. Yelena yelled, "What the fuck?" as the Jeep quickly became a hurling fireball. Yelena felt hot flames singeing the hair on the back of her neck, and her eyes watered from the black smoke. In a panic, she screamed and jumped out of the Jeep and rolled to safety. The postal fireball careened down the street and smashed into the front office of Sulo and Breck Marketing. The front office of Sulo and Breck happened to be holding several large boxes from their new client, Blaine Powers. These boxes happened to be full of samples of his protein supplements, Megaprotes, which also happened to be highly explosive. Yelena stared at the crumbling inferno and thought she was having the worst day on earth. Turns out she will be second place. That same morning, Wendell Glick thought to himself, "This is going to be the best day of my life." Wendell, our soon-to-be Dr. Wendell Glick, was completing his final year of medical school in Missouri City. He was a tall, lanky figure with red hair that didn't seem to care for the laws of gravity or fashion. He had a long, skinny face with kind blue eyes and a crooked grin, all framed in sideburns that were about 60 years too late to the fashion party. Wendell had been accepted at his first pick for medical residency, the prestigious St. Tedious Medical Center in Newest York. And most importantly, Wendell was about to be engaged to the love of his life, Gail Bradley. They had met through mutual friends. Wendell thought back to what Gail's friend told her when they met. "Look, Gail, life is about compromise. He's not much to look at, but he's going to be a doctor. And let's face it, Gail, you're not getting any younger." Such wisdom in those words. Life really is about compromise. He was about to be a doctor, and nobody's getting younger. That's physiologically impossible. Oh, Gail, his beautiful girlfriend, especially the cute way she stared off into the distance and sighed. Wendell had told Gail about moving to Newest York, but she hadn't said much. He was sure she was just anxious about moving with him, especially since they were at the boyfriend-girlfriend stage. But that was about to change. Wendell knew Gail would love Newest York. She would find a job in no time. She was a star at her marketing job at Sulo and Breck Marketing, and had been spending lots and lots and lots of time with their new client, Blaine Powers, founder of Megaprotes protein supplement. Wendell turned on the news.
Breaking news. The marketing firm Sulo and Breck exploded in fire when a burning postal jeep crashed into the front of the building. Firefighters are putting out a blaze that engulfed the marketing business and its neighbor, Captain Kablooey's propane tank and discount fireworks explosionarium. The cause is being...
Wendell clicked off the TV and immediately called Gail. And by called, he texted. Wendell had one anxiety: talking on the phone. He typed the letters, "Are you okay?" Then waited pensively. Then the reply bubbles started bubbling on his phone. "Sure, why?" He typed, "Where are you?" "At Blaine's. Home office. Working." He typed, "Your office just exploded."
What?
Turn on the news.
He doesn't have a bedroom TV.
Then quickly corrected to,
Office TV. Gotta go.
Wendell typed, "Still on for our date tonight?"
Don't know, but we need to talk about us.
"I love you," Wendell typed with a heart emoji. Then reply bubbles. Then nothing.
We need to talk.
Wendell smiled.
If your girlfriend says we need to talk about us, that's always good news.
He pulled out a small ring box and chuckled at his good luck. That evening, Wendell picked up Gail at her apartment. He was trying to be inconspicuous, but his sport coat and tie screamed something was up. Gail answered the door. As Wendell went in for a kiss, she turned her face and let him kiss her cheek. Gail eyed him suspiciously.
What are you up to?
Wendell grinned.
Nothing. I just thought a nice walk in the park. Let me get my purse.
He tried following her in, but she shut the door. As they walked to the nearby park, Gail was texting while Wendell pointed out the lovely evening. Then Wendell's phone buzzed as he looked down. It was a text from Gail that read, "Soon, at park." He looked at her and laughed.
Of course we're at the park. Duh. You are such a goof sometimes. That's why I love you.
Gail looked up from her phone and, almost sorrowfully, said,
I know.
They stopped at Mixie Moo's, an ice cream booth at the park entrance, already open for the season. The booth's speakers were playing Save the Last Dance for Me by the Drifters. As Wendell placed his order, Gail sang to herself,
I'll save the last dance for him.
Wendell couldn't help but smile at Gail's beautiful singing voice.
Don't you think it's too cold for ice cream?
Gail asked and shivered.
Are you cold? Here, take my jacket.
Wendell took off his jacket and wrapped it around Gail.
Thanks,
she said, staring down at her phone.
Do you want any ice cream, honey?
Asked Wendell.
No, thank you. The proteins are too small.
Wendell thought, oh, that again, to himself, but dared not disagree. Instead, he nodded his head and took his ice cream. Gail continued.
You don't understand, Wendell. Blaine has been working on this breakthrough for months now. Doctors call it megaprotes. Not you, but real doctors, no offense. Blaine says doctors are saying most proteins are too small for your body to see, so they go unused. But megaprotes are larger, so your body can see them and use them. He says doctors say so.
Wendell thought, no, they don't. That's not a thing. But instead ate his ice cream and listened.
Working with Blaine is so easy. He says we are connected like telepathetic. Isn't that cute? I think he's brilliant. He could even be a doctor someday.
Gail smiled for the first time that evening and stared off into the distance. Wendell then said, ugh, and spit something out onto the park lawn.
They put candy bits in my ice cream. I ordered plain vanilla. Well, go back and tell them. You could get them to replace your cone and barter for a free coupon. No, I don't want to. I don't want to bother them. Besides, what if they get mad?
Wendell has two anxieties, talking on the phone and haggling. Gail frowned and said,
"You're not going to be anything if you don't become more assertive. Tell people what you want and stop being afraid. Take Blaine, for example. He has me on a strict Megaprotein diet. He says if I eat more Megaprotein, my breasts can be even firmer."
All Wendell heard was, "Tell people what you want and stop being so afraid." And, along with the specific bench they arrived at, took that as a good sign for what was about to happen. They sat at the park bench in front of a forked path. Wendell finished his ice cream, and they sat in silence. After a while, he asked, "Remember this bench?"
"No, should I?"
"This is the place of our first date."
"Oh, it was?"
"This is where we had our first kiss."
"Oh, okay."
She put away her cell phone and turned to Wendell. Then they both said,
I have something to say."
Wendell set down his cell phone and smiled. He felt fate rushing towards him. "How about this? Cover your eyes."
"Oh, Wendell."
"Please, for me, cover your eyes, and on the count of 3, we will both say what we need to."
"Wendell, I don't think this is a good idea."
"Please, Gail, for me." He looked at her pleadingly. Gail studied his soft blue eyes, boyish smile, and ruffled hair. With the exception of his hideous sideburns, he looked like an excited big kid, which he often acted like. She sighed.
"Fine, but I don't."
"This is so exciting." Gail covered her eyes, and Wendell sprung into action. He grabbed the ring out of his pocket, spun down on one knee, and faced Gail before she could even count to 1.
One.
Wendell was a bundle of nerves. He felt the next moment would change his life. He focused on Gail, ignoring everything around him. The sounds, the sights, the warm evening breeze that had become hotter and was coming down on his head like hundreds of hair dryers. Even the evening sun had somehow become much brighter, almost as if it was shining down on his head.
2.
Wendell couldn't wait another moment. He blurted out, "Gail Bradley, will you..." There was a flash of light, and Wendell disappeared. What will happen to Dr. Wendell Glick? And who? Turn in next week to find out. And if you enjoyed this season opener, please recommend it to a friend. Next, we have my favorite part of the show, which is hearing from you, dear listeners. And so we have an email. I'll just go ahead and read it here. It is from Jim. It says, "Coffee. I just wanted to say how much I enjoy your stories. They are funny, creative, and just all around exceptional. I don't know how you do it, but keep up the good work. I'm a recent joiner and have gone back maybe 10 or so episodes, and they are all very entertaining. I can't wait for season 2. Your fan, Jim." Jim, thank you so much for writing in. I am so glad that you are enjoying these, and I hope season 2 lives up to your expectations. And if you'd like to write in and share thoughts, questions, concerns, complaints, whatever, you can contact me. My contact information is in the show notes. As well, to keep the show going, if you are able to, the show will always be free. There won't be any paywalls for it, but there is a link to buy me a coffee. Think of it as a tip jar for podcasts. And the link to that is in the show notes, but don't at all feel like you have to. But if you do, it is greatly appreciated. And if you do write into me, or if you make a donation at Buy Me a Coffee, let me know if it's okay to share your note on the podcast. So until next week, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to play nice with others, be super duper kind to yourself, and as always, remember to laugh and watch the skies. Bye.